Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to take a pretty complex skill and turn it into something you can really use. Think of it like this. We're about to go on a data-driven quest, taking a really tough business problem and turning it into a smart, automated solution. Okay, so picture this. You're at your desk, and the CEO walks over with this question. This isn't just a casual query, right? This is a high-stakes business quest. The pressure's on, everyone's looking at you, and your job is to dig into the data and find the truth. Now, any good quest needs the right set of tools. For data pros, this is all about mastering what's sometimes called competency K14. But look, forget the jargon. It's really just about knowing not just what your tools can do, but when and why you should use each one to actually make a difference. So, where do you start? Well, your journey begins with the most familiar tool for a quick first look. The humble, but honestly mighty spreadsheet. We've got to get a feel for the situation, and we need to do it fast. You know, spreadsheets are your first stop because they are just fantastic for getting some quick clarity. With a few simple functions and the magic of pivot tables, you can slice and dice a small chunk of data and start spotting trends right away. No complicated setup needed. And boom, just one simple pivot table, and we've got our first major clue. Birmingham's average delivery time is a whole 9 minutes longer than Manchester's. And look at that late rate, 36%. The CEO's hunch was spot on. We've officially confirmed there's a problem. That's win number one. So we've found the what, but to figure out the why, we've basically hit a wall with our current tool. Your spreadsheet is going to start chugging, probably crash, and just can't handle the full 5 million rows of data. We need more firepower. So it is time to level up. We're moving to a tool that's built for serious scale and power, the database, and its language, SQL. This is how we go from just scratching the surface to a deep, meaningful investigation. And this right here shows you exactly why we need to make the switch. Databases are designed for this stuff, handling millions of rows with incredible speed and reliability. We're not risking any more copy-paste errors because we're talking directly to the data at its source. This makes sure our findings are based on the complete, accurate truth. With SQL, we can ask much, much smarter questions. We're not just getting the average for a city anymore. Now we can join different tables to see if certain restaurants are causing the issue, or group the data to pinpoint the exact source of the delays in Birmingham. And we get precise answers from the entire dataset in just seconds. Okay, but here's the thing. Raw numbers and lines of code, they're not going to convince the leadership team to take action. To really make things happen, you've got to turn your findings into a story they can't ignore. It's time to visualize this data. Remember this number? 42 minutes. This is where our whole quest started. It was the problem. Now, let's see how our analysis turns this number into the start of a real solution. See? By visualizing the data like this, you're not just spitting out facts, you're showing the impact. This simple chart makes it crystal clear that after putting in a new routing system based on what you found, the average delivery time dropped by 7 minutes. This is how you translate your hard work into real business results. And this is where things get really game-changing. Instead of just emailing a static report, you build an interactive dashboard. Now, managers can jump in and explore the data for themselves. They can filter by city or by a specific restaurant. You're not just giving them an answer anymore, you're giving them a tool to find their own answers, and that builds a ton of trust. But you know, a true data hero doesn't just solve a problem once. Nope, they build a solution that stops the problem from ever coming back, and that frees them up to tackle the next big thing. This is the incredible power of automation. Let's be honest, the old way was a total grind. Every single week, you'd spend hours exporting, cleaning, updating. It was so repetitive, so time-consuming, and worst of all, just one little copy-paste error could mess everything up. But now, just look at this. It's a whole new world. An automated script just runs every single night, doing all the heavy lifting. The dashboard refreshes all by itself, and by the time managers grab their morning coffee, the very latest insights are sitting there waiting for them. It is efficient, it's reliable, and you don't have to lift a finger. And this is the real payoff. You haven't just solved the original problem. You've created huge value for the company by saving hundreds of hours of manual work and making sure the data everyone sees is always consistent and trustworthy. So by mastering this whole toolkit, you've done it. You've completed the quest. You took a simple question and turned it into a fully automated solution. And along the way, you've completely transformed your own role in the business. A statement like this one, it's the perfect way to sum up this whole journey. It shows a really deep understanding of the entire process. It proves you don't just know how to use the tools, but more importantly, you get why and when to use each one to get the biggest impact. It really all comes down to this kind of strategic thinking. Every tool has its place, right? Spreadsheets for a quick look, databases for when you need to get serious, visualization to tell the story, and automation to create lasting value. Mastering this flow is what separates a good data technician from a truly great data partner. Ultimately, that's the real question to ask yourself. When you master these tools, you're empowered to stop just being a reactive question answerer and start being a proactive problem solver, turning today's one-off requests into tomorrow's automated, scalable solutions.